Einstein, Stephen Hawking, Mike DeGrasse Tyson.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top moments of the Big Bang Theory actors uncontrollably smiling or laughing on set.
One plays at lightning, the other plays it.
Number 20. Flower Girl Substitution. Amy and Sheldon have a formula for figuring out their wedding so that both of their ideas are fairly incorporated.
You know, this is really fun. I can't believe that people say that planning a wedding is one of the most stressful things in life.
I know. Not a day goes by that I don't marvel how much better we are than other people.
It starts well, but to no surprise, it turns into a disagreement fest. Amy frustratedly mentions potentially changing the flower girl to something less conventional.
Vows and Klingon.
Then I'm changing the flower girl to a dog. And guess what he'll be scattering instead of petals?
Shooting the scene, Jim Parsons couldn't help but crack a smile after Mayim Bialik delivered the second part about the lack of flowers and presence of something less pleasant. The line is super funny within the context of the wedding planning scene, so we can see why Parsons couldn't resist smiling.
And guess what he'll be scattering instead of petals?
Number 19. Leonard's briefcase comment. By the time Penny tells Leonard that her brother is coming to town during season 10, he already knows about his illegal drug activities.
Hey, can you hold off redoing that room? My brother's coming out here in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure. What's going on with your brother?
My dad asked if I can get him a job interview at my work.
Naturally, he's not happy about her brother staying with them. Penny tries to help get her brother a job in the area. When she brings up the idea of him potentially working at the same pharmaceutical company as her, Leonard has a funny and creative response.
Well, I'm sure he'll appreciate carrying his samples in a briefcase instead of his colon.
Kaylee Cuoco visibly tried not to laugh after Johnny Galecki delivered the line, but her smile eventually turned into laughter after all.
Carrying his samples in a briefcase instead of his colon.
Number 18. I think it's nice. Sheldon provides abundant opportunities to get roasted throughout the Big Bang Theory.
Well, I think it's very nice that you're helping out our friend.
I think it's nice that you're taking whatever medication Amy is clearly giving you.
In many cases, it's for his quirkiness or unconventional behavior. During one particular stairway scene in season 10, he says something that exhibits kindness and social awareness, the latter of which especially often escapes him.
And what is that supposed to mean?
Well, it's like that science thing. For every action, you have a gigantic and annoying reaction.
Just when I thought you couldn't get me hotter.
Perhaps this comment doesn't warrant a snarky response, but that's what Leonard gives. After Leonard takes the shot at Sheldon, you can see Kaylee Cuoco smiling, and even starting to chuckle while walking up the stairs. When it was time to say her line, it quickly became evident they'd need a retake.
And what is that supposed to mean?
It's like...
She's not gonna...
Number 17. Scavenger hunt with Romeo. If you're on Bernadette's team for a scavenger hunt, you better be locked in. All she wants to do is win.
Sorry you got stuck with me. I bet you wanted to be with Bernadette.
Have you ever played a game with Bernadette?
No.
Have you ever gone into a steel cage with a wolverine?
She shows that competitive edge during a season 7 episode in which she finds herself teamed up with Leonard for a scavenger hunt. Things get a little rocky for Penny and Leonard when the teams are decided.
Yeah, you don't think I'm smart enough. You think I'm gonna be a liability, even though I totally just used the word liability correctly in a sentence.
Later, Leonard tries to bury the hatchet with Penny during the game, but Bernadette isn't having it. Not the time and not the place. This scene, which takes place at the comic book store, took several efforts to get right. Melissa Rauch and Johnny Galecki found the situation humorous as Rauch repeatedly shouted her line and shoved her co-star.
Hey, Romeo, repair your relationship on your own time.
Oh, in the face.
Number 16, Raj's babies comment. When Sheldon and Leonard find themselves at a crossroads with their work in physics, Leonard voices his disappointment and frustration to Penny.
It's worse than that. It hasn't found anything in years, so we don't know if we're right, we don't know if we're wrong, we don't know where to go next.
All I know is it looks like I tongue-kissed Avatar.
So Penny suggests Raj and Howard cheer up Leonard and Sheldon. Raj is not in the mood for their negativity and what he describes as whiny, baby-like behavior.
Physics is exactly like Lost. Started out great and turns out just a big old waste of time.
Woo-hoo! You know what you sound like? Babies. Two whiny babies.
An outtake from this season 11 scene showed Kaylee Cuoco and Jim Parsons laughing. While Raj actually executed the line well, it certainly provided a reason for the actors to laugh.
Well, boo-hoo! Okay, you know what you sound like? Babies. Two whiny babies.
Howard's presence during the scene is also worth noting because at this point he's an expectant father, visibly overwhelmed by impending fatherhood. Raj's words certainly don't help put him at ease. Number 15. What other option was there? Sheldon's idea of consoling someone isn't quite up to par.
What are you doing?
I'm Googling what to do when someone's freaking out. Oh, it says here that a walk can be calming. Bye.
In a season 12 episode, Amy could use some emotional support from her husband. During a conversation with Penny and Leonard, Sheldon claims to have given it to her, but that doesn't sound like consoling. Penny's ensuing line is seemingly sarcastic, poking fun at the lack of effort Sheldon gave to brighten up his wife's day.
What exactly does that mean?
I took a walk, I came back, she was still upset, so I came here.
Well, I don't see what else you could have done.
Jim Parsons giggled after Kaylee Cuoco said this line. Cuoco joined in on the laughing as well. This dialogue was a great piece of script writing, and Cuoco's execution brought it to life with flying colors.
Well, I don't see what else you could have done.
Number 14. Watching TV without Leonard. When a couple is watching a series together, there may come a time where one person feels tempted to watch an episode without their significant other. Depending on the situation, that could cause an issue.
We had started binge watching Luke Cage together, and it was kind of our thing. And then I find out that she watched 2 episodes without me.
It's like I was excited for a present and got socks.
Penny watches not just 1, but 2 episodes without Leonard. He isn't thrilled about it, describing his fight with Penny to their friends. This produced a funny blooper in which the live audience reacted to Leonard's line.
She watched 2 episodes without me.
This caused Cuoco, Parsons, and Bialik to smile and eventually break. Shooting another scene in season 10, an ew sound from the live audience made Penny laugh.
I'm sorry, she said ew.
But we're choosing the instance where more than just Cuoco laughed. Number 13. The Big Leagues. Stuart and Raj fight over Bernadette's co-worker, Rushi, during season 11.
He seemed fun.
Oh yeah, he is. I love him dearly. Not to say that I don't worry about him.
What's to worry about?
You know what? I'm talking out of school.
Raj goes behind Stuart's back and isn't totally truthful when Stuart runs into him and Rushi. At one particular moment during the episode, Stuart's line about the big leagues of desperation produced a hilarious blooper. Kevin Sussman, who plays Stuart, delivered these words with great intensity and an irritated tone.
You want to play a game of who's more desperate with me? Because you're in the big leagues now, bucko!
The humor of the line itself, along with Sussman's execution of it, caused Kunal Nair to crack up. What actually made the final cut for the episode was a calmer delivery of the line, which is also funny, but arguably not as funny as the blooper.
You want to play a game of who's more desperate with me? Because you're in the big leagues now, bucko.
Number 12. Howard's baby car seat mishap. Bernadette gives birth to Hallie in season 10.
She's here, the baby's here.
Congratulations!
How's Bernadette?
Tired, but great. They're both great.
Does the baby have a name yet?
We have named her Hallie.
That same season, Howard brings his and Bernadette's baby up to Leonard and Penny's apartment. A laughter-filled blooper came out of this scene. The baby is asleep, so Howard asks if he can put her in the bedroom. Penny gives the okay.
The baby's asleep. Can we put her in your room?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you need help?
No, I got it. Doubtfire, Poppins, follow me.
The blooper came after this, as Simon Helberg tried to maneuver between a couple of chairs with the baby car seat in his hand. It didn't go as smoothly as he hoped. The rest of the actors in the room laughed. The fact that the mishap occurred right after Amy offered help made it all the funnier.
Do you need help?
No, I got it. Ooh.
Number 11, Sheldon snoring. There's snoring, and then there's whatever that noise Sheldon makes while sleeping. Even Jim Parsons recognized just how silly he sounded while shooting this bed scene with Mayim Bialik. After a few funny-sounding snores and body movements, Parsons couldn't control himself from laughing. This happened more than just once. He apologized and showed his frustration for not being able to keep himself together. At the same time, you could tell he was having a good time despite his several failed attempts. Unsurprisingly, what ultimately made the final cut for this scene was also quite funny. Number 10, camera in comic book store. In season 9, Stuart invites the girls over to the comic book store to get their advice on how to bring more women through the door.
So how can we help?
Well, I know more women are buying comics than ever, but for some reason I can't get them in here.
All right, well, what have you tried so far?
When asked what he's done so far, he mentions the, quote, breastfeeding area, and tries to allay their concerns by telling them about the camera he had installed above them.
Really? In a comic book store?
Oh, don't worry, I've got a camera right up here, so I could watch from the counter, make sure guys aren't being pervs.
In the episode that aired, this last comment creeps the girls out. However, in a great blooper, actor Kevin Sussman, who plays Stuart, can't quite make it through his speech, which ends up cracking up the rest of the cast in the scene as well.
Anyway,
Number 9, Will Wheaton plays with himself.
Former star of Star Trek The Next Generation, and the only guy I know lucky enough to be immortalized in 1/16th scale. Set phasers to fun.
Okay, so we have to admit that Sheldon handing Will Wheaton a Wesley Crusher action figure and telling him to feel free to play with yourself, now that's a great line.
Can I speak to you for a second?
I'll be right back. Feel free to play with yourself.
It still makes us laugh every time we watch that episode. And it turns out, Mayim Bialik liked it also. So much so, in fact, that the actress just couldn't stay in character when it was her time to speak next. She was supposed to be angry, which we see in the aired episode, but in the blooper, she couldn't even get started.
I'll be right back. Feel free to play with yourself.
Number 8, Penny's feet. Depending on your POV, feet can be sexy or gross, but not many people find them funny.
Well, he pointed out that he kind of sort of had to put up with you.
Kind of, sort of, hadda?
Well, I didn't agree with him.
Well, you defended me, right?
I tried, but...
However, watching Kaylee Cuoco go to town on her feet in this season 4 scene was too much for Simon Helberg to handle. As we saw in the scene that made it to air, Howard is supposed to admonish Penny for scrubbing her feet wrong, and then take over and show her how it's done.
I do this for my mom all the time. See? With the grain.
Wow, that is better.
But in this take that ended up on the blooper reel, Hellberg, although he tries to hang in there, can't help but break as Penny scrubs and scrubs and scrubs away.
Tried, but he...
Number 7, Indian Jones. In season 6, Raj had the very funny idea of dressing up as Indiana Jones's mocha-skinned love child, Indian Jones, for Halloween.
I was thinking of dressing up as Indiana Jones's mocha-skinned love child. Indian Jones.
Clever.
The problem is that Jim Parsons and Simon Helberg thought it was a really funny idea also. This was a problem because every time Kunal Nair would try and get his lines out, those other two would keep cracking up.
I was thinking of dressing up as Indiana Jones's
If that wasn't bad enough, once Parsons and Helberg were able to hold it together and keep a straight face, Nair just couldn't get the line out properly for take after take after take after...
Oh, by the way, can I borrow your bullwhip and fedora? Dude, keep it together. Oh, by the way, can I borrow your bullwhip and fedora?
Number 6, Howard and Raj get close. One of the things that makes this scene so funny is how Helberg and Nair hold their positions with their faces just a couple of inches from each other.
This is where he goes? What's in there? I think it's an old storage room. What could he be doing in there every day for 20 minutes?
If you're wondering how they managed to do it without laughing, well, the answer is they didn't. At least not on the first take.
What are you doing? I'm listening. Can't you face the other way and listen? I can't do anything right for you, can I?
We're not sure how many takes they did, but we do know that at least one of them led to this great blooper in which they hold, and hold, but eventually Nair cracks a smile. Helberg manages to hang on a bit longer, but not by much. Number 5, Mike Degrass Tyson. In the season 9 episode, The Fermentation Bifurcation, the gang runs into Penny's ex, Zach, at a wine tasting and gets to talking about science.
Angular momentum. I was wondering about that.
You can put it in a satellite or a rocket and it'll run forever.
Cool.
Because, as Zach points out, he loves science and can even name a number of famous scientists, including Mike Degrass Tyson.
I love science. Einstein, Stephen Hawking, Mike deGrasse Tyson.
Zach's name mix-up gets a smile of superiority from the geniuses, as the script certainly called for. What it didn't call for, though, was Kaylee Cuoco bursting out laughing, which she did during one of the takes when Zach stumbles over the name mix-up.
Einstein, Stephen Hawking, Mike deGrasse Tyson. I saw.
Number 4, Raj the couples counselor. Raj might just be the character most in touch with his feelings, and the best one to give advice to the couples in the group.
You made us feel like we're not trying hard enough.
Yeah, we were totally fine half-assing our marriage till you showed up.
Look, I'm sorry you're upset with me, but I just have to say it's nice to see the two of you on the same page.
But that doesn't mean they always want his advice. And in the Discovery Dissipation, each couple, one after the other, tells him exactly that. First, it's Howard and Bernadette, followed by Sheldon and Amy.
Thank you, Rajesh.
And Amy, you need to be patient with Sheldon instead of pressuring him to accept intimacy on your terms.
You should probably go.
But before they got a good take of Amy telling Raj to leave, there were a couple in which neither Nair, Bialik, nor Parsons could keep a straight face, as Raj doled out his relationship advice.
Thank you, Rajesh.
And Amy?
Why are you laughing?
Number 3, Howard's Al Pacino impression. Howard is a master of impressions, and in Season 6's The Love Spell Potential, we got to enjoy a number of them, from Nicolas Cage to Christopher Walken.
Travel with caution. These woods are home to the bones of many a fallen hero!
But when the girls return to the apartment where the guys are playing Dungeons and Dragons, Howard breaks out his Al Pacino impression to invite them to join in on the game.
A satanic fungus that looks suspiciously like Al Pacino rises from the forest floor and says,
"You're playing D&D. You're playing D&D. This whole apartment is playing D&D."
And yes, the characters are supposed to appreciate the impression, but if you look at the cast around Howard, you can see that these are real laughs, not acting laughing.
I know not to fly over volcanoes. I'm a freaking idiot. The dragon's Christopher Walken. That's perfect.
Number 2, Sheldon Spanks Amy. The episode in which Sheldon takes care of a sick Amy is filled with some of the biggest laughs of the series.
You may notice some tingling.
Oh, I'm counting on it.
We all remember Sheldon putting Vapo Rub on Amy's chest and spanking her to punish her for lying about being sick once her condition had improved. Well, as big as the laughs from the studio audience were during these scenes, so too were Parsons and Bialik's character breaks in the bloopers for each one. Bialik actually goes and winks at Parsons while he rubs her chest, and Parsons loses it after each spank of her rear end.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Hatchet?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You'll have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Thor and Dr. Jones. It often requires multiple takes to get a scene right, and actors can break character numerous times before finally keeping a straight face for the scene that makes it into the episode.
Indy held his ground and straightened his fedora. Thor said, "That's a nice look," in 1944.
And then there are times when the scene that makes it to air isn't the only one where they don't break, but rather the one in which they break the least. Case in point, Howard and Rajs' concert at the comic book store in Season 9. As you can see in this blooper, Kaylee Cuoco is breaking through pretty much the entire song.
One plays with lightning, the other plays with
But check out the actual scene and you'll see Cuoco holding strong when they first cut to her, but once Nair and Hellberg hit those high notes, she breaks yet again.
One plays with lightning, the other plays with bones. Thor and Dr. Jones. Thor and Dr. Jones.
Let us know in the comments which character from The Big Bang Theory makes you laugh the most.
Why are you laughing? His statement was factually correct.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.